Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa. Welcome to our virtual yoga class. We'll begin class by laying on our back, so take your time there. Lay with your back on the mat, legs stretched out. And then I recommend either resting your hands on your chest, your belly, or you can also drop your hands to your sides, hands framing your hips, as we do when we end our class with Shavasana. As you're settling into this first resting pose of the class, I invite you to notice. Notice your thoughts, and then notice your breath. Notice that transition, that experience of noticing your thoughts and transitioning to your breath. Now take a purposeful breath, inhaling, and I recommend exhaling, sighing out. We're inviting deeper awareness as we practice for the rest of class. Our breath is our focusing tool as you're working on your strength, flexibility, and balance. And it might sound like a broken record sometimes, but as we know, we have to be reminded, even as we practice throughout the class, we're practicing arriving to the mat at this moment. And it's really funny in my perspective and how challenging that can be. So we're gonna take an inhale here, exhale, sigh out. Settling into your breath, settling into your body, noticing that this is a practice. We're cultivating skills here. Inhale and exhale, sigh out. Sometimes when we're cultivating that skill, we tend to be a little confused about what are we supposed to do here? And that's a really, really good question. We're practicing stillness here. We're practicing that mental focus, returning to our breath. And generally, we're learning to be okay with welcoming our breath, welcoming our experience, noticing that we're releasing those thoughts, those habits, that to-do list for later in the day. Once again, I recommend inhaling, exhaling, sucking out. And then a body scan here. Notice the back of your head, your neck, shoulders, down your spine. Notice your belly. Invite a breath that begins at the belly, meaning we tend to place attention to our nose and throat, chest. We want to extend that awareness into our belly. Notice your hips behind your knees, down to your ankles and toes. Three intentional breaths here. Inhale, exhale. Be mindful of your second breath cycle and third. And then we'll invite a full body stretch, lifting our arms up overhead, pointing your toes. Now you can explore here. You can rotate your ankles,
I recommend lifting your abdomen up towards the ceiling. You can focus a little bit more around the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. You want to release compression around the lower back. Take inventory here. And then release that full body stretch. We're going to bend our right knee here, lengthen our leg up towards the ceiling. Interlace your fingers right behind your thigh or maybe a little bit behind the knee. You can have a little bend to your knee. You can rotate your ankle here. Notice that you'll activate a little stretch there on the calf muscle. And then I recommend focusing on your hamstrings. Those are areas that we definitely want to have opened up as we practice. So we're working on our hamstrings. You can extend that stretch into the lower back, into the glutes and hips by dropping your leg towards the left and towards the right. So you can sway back and forth or just hold if one position particularly requires more of your attention. Breathe into your boundary. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knee. Grab your knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, drop your head back. Second round, lift your forehead up towards your knee, drop your head back. Round your spine, forehead towards your knee, chin towards your chest, hold. And then drop your head back. Inhale, exhale, and release. Now bend your left knee. Grab that knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee. And let's, let's go ahead and focus first on our left leg, lifting our left leg. We'll do that in just a second. Let's interlace your fingers right behind our knee or thigh, rotate your ankle here, activating a stretch here around the calf. And after a few breaths there, and focus on your hamstrings here, dropping your leg towards the left, towards the right to activate other stretches here around the hips Glutes, lower back. You're still stretching here throughout the hamstrings. You can hold the position there for an extra breath or two, or sway back and forth. And then start to release, bending that left knee, grabbing that knee with your hands, round your spine, forehead towards your knee, and drop your head back. 2 more times. Forehead up towards your knee. You want to invite that rounding in the spine, massaging around the lower back, opening around the mid back, upper back, around the neck. Hold, and then drop your head back. Bend both knees, both feet float off the floor, and then roll a little bit to the left and towards the right. And then release. We're going to go ahead and sit in a cross-legged position. You're grounding your sit bones onto the floor. Those are the bones right close to your glutes. You're lengthening the spine, palms on your knees. Now you want to be active here because part of what we're practicing in our yoga class is that tendency throughout our day to leave our bodies. And we can notice how we leave our bodies are a little bit more trapped by our thoughts, by the way that our bodies tend to collapse. So we're purposely being active, present in our body, activating our core, noticing an open chest, noticing if there's any rounding or crunching in the shoulders, drawing them down. And our chin is neutral, meaning it's parallel to the floor. 3 grounding breaths here. Let's inhale, exhale. Feel free to exhale side out anytime. Inhale again. Eyes opened or closed. Exhale. A twist. We'll take our left hand towards our knee, twist towards the right. Chin moves towards the right. And then release, opposite side. Chin moves towards the left. You want to use that grip to intensify the twist. And then one more time on each side. My chest opens up. Take a comfortable breath. It's hard to take deep breaths and twists. And then release. Cup your forearms or your elbows with your hands. You can also come into reverse prayer. That's where both palms touch. So that is available as well. My spine is long here, yet I'm noticing a lot opening up in my shoulders. And I also notice that my right shoulder is more tight than my left shoulder. So you'll notice that dynamic. Be gentle here, breathing to any area that feels a little sore or tight. Core is still active. Breathe into your shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Now interlace your fingers. Either palms touch or they do not. Open up your chest, shoulder blades stitch closer together. You can lift your gaze up towards the ceiling, then gently lift your chin. Not a whole lot, gently lift. Inhale. Exhale. Release. Hands on your knees. Shoulders up towards your ears, draw them down. Inhale, lift your arms up overhead, interlace your fingers, palms up. round your spine, chin towards chest, palms towards the front. Inhale, exhale, start to rock forward. We're going to shift into our forward fold. Please soften your neck and head. That's the areas we tend to lift up unnecessarily. Soften your neck and head. Let your torso drop here. We're going to roll up slowly. Head comes up last. Arms dangle. Make this a purposeful practice of physically slowing down. It's a good practice as we physically move slowly. We also learn to slow down our thoughts. Your spine slowly lengthens, palms face outwards, framing your hips. Eyes are closed or they are open. Remain here grounded through your feet. Noticing the base of your spine all the way to the top of your head. Fingertips spread out. We're the symbol of that mountain, grounded through our feet. The head is our peak. Belly expands, inhale, exhale. You're gonna bring your arms out to a T after that breath. Now notice your hips. Now they are going to open up as we twist towards the right. However, do your best to keep them squared towards the front. So that means I'm leading through my arm and my chest to find that twist, doing my very best to keep my hips towards the front. Now, I'll take my gaze over my right hand. Again, your hips will move towards the right, but I'm being purposeful here, where my feet are grounded. My twist originates through the arm and chest. And then come back to center, opposite side, leading through your chest, doing your best to keep your hips square towards the front. I take my gaze over that left hand, make any adjustments with that left arm, making sure it's parallel to the floor. And then release, come back to center. Cup your forearms with your hands as we did earlier, or your elbows. Or as I'm demonstrating, you can experiment with your reverse prayer. Now, when we're getting comfortable with reverse prayer, sometimes it begins here where your palm or the edges of your hands are close to your lower back, mid back. You can also try to lift them as high as you can. Remain here, grounded through your feet, placing attention to your left shoulder, right shoulder. Noticing a breath that drops up the belly. Inhale. Exhale. Now release your hands, interlace your fingers. Draw your shoulder blades closer together. Imagine you're holding a ball between your shoulder blades. I'm going to lift my gaze and my chin up towards the ceiling, purposely opening up the chest here. I'm going to bend my knees, start to fold down, being very careful and softening my neck and head as I drop down. Holding here. Hands to shins. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Release, soften your neck and head. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Release, third round. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. Release, sweep our arms up overhead. Hands meet in front of our heart center.
Notice your left hand press against right hand press against left hand. Sun salutation, release your hands. Inhale, arms lift. Extend through your spine. Exhale, fold. Be mindful of your neck, head, softening as you fold down.
Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release. Ground your palms onto the mat. Lengthen your legs behind you. Release down towards the floor.
Tops of the feet on the floor, glutes engaged, spine extended, shoulders drawn down, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog.
Hold that down dog, pressing through your palms. Inhale. Exhale. Hold this downward facing dog, pressing through your palms, bringing the chest closer towards your thighs.
I'm going to breathe into your hamstrings. See if you can imagine a breath that begins at your fingertips and ends at your toes. Full body breath. Imagine if as you inhaled, you were breathing in through the pores of your skin. And exhaling out through the pores of your skin. Once again, these simple imaginative exercises help us build a bridge of the physical, mental, emotional body. From your downward facing dog, 3 mini vinyasas. Shift to plank pose, release down towards the floor. Inhale up into an upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Generous breath, take that full body breath, breathing into the pores of your skin, inhaling and exhaling. Use your imagination to visualize that. Second vinyasa, plank pose, core is fired up, glutes and quads as well, and release down towards the floor. Moving at your own pace, you inhale into a upward facing dog and then shift into a downward facing dog. Generous breath, inhale, exhale. And then shift down, last round, the mini vinyasa, plank pose. Shift down towards the floor, inhale up, upward facing dog. Meet a down dog, now remain in this down dog. Fingertips are spread out wide, palms are on the floor. You're bringing your chest closer towards your thighs. You're lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. Heels can be lifted as well. And then exhale, release down into a child's pose. So take that moment of pause, that moment of rest. Knees either close together or towards the edges of the mat. We're going to take a couple of grounding breaths here. Once again, that exercise of inhaling through the pores of our skin and exhaling out as well. Notice a deep belly breath here. Press through your palms. Start to release your child's pose. We're going to shift into a plank pose and hold our plank pose. You want to make sure that your hands are directly beneath your shoulders. Core active. Glutes as well. Elbows are extended. Any shaking is fine. Notice any collapse around the hips. So this is me collapsing my hips and lifting up. Imagine a cord lifting you up and then release down towards the floor. We're going to remain here, belly on the floor. Interlace your fingers behind you, 3 rounds. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Now, another option is you can just shoot your fingers out behind you. Second round, inhale up. Exhale, release. Third round, inhale up. Exhale, release. All right, this time, we're gonna lift both arms up, both legs up at the same time. And both palms are going to face each other here. Be aware of your glute strength here. Inhale up, lots of core strength. Exhale, release. Please do not tense up around the neck or shoulders. Lift up. Third round, lift up. And actually, we're going to go ahead and move through a 4th round. Hold there for an extra breath cycle. Inhale. Exhale. Another breath. Release. Both hands frame your chest. Elbows close to your torso. Lift up, upward facing dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. And hold. Breathe through the pores of your skin. Inhale. Exhale. Release. We're going to go through the same sequence. Either interlace your fingers behind you or just shoot your fingers out. Just be purposeful and drawing your shoulder blades together. Inhale up. You're using that breath to help find that lift. Total of 3 rounds. And then on the next round, we're going to take both arms out. Both legs are going to lift. As a reminder, please do not tense up around the neck and shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale. Release. Move so intentionally. Notice what's supporting you and finding that lift. And then as you reach that 4th round, you're going to remain there an extra breath cycle. Inhale. Exhale. Then after 2 breath cycles, take your hands right to frame your chest. Notice elbows, sometimes they open up. Keep those elbows close to your torso. Lift up. Upward facing dog. We lift up to our downward facing dog. We'll core workout here. We'll lift our left leg, bend our knees, stack our hips. And now left knee towards that left elbow, hover. And then lift your leg, bend your knees, stack your hips, and hold. 1 breath. And then release your foot back down towards the floor. Generous breath. Whenever we're fully activating our body, so critical for that deep belly breath. You can exhale, side out. And now lift your right leg, bend your right knee, stack your hips. Right knee towards that right elbow, hover. Press through your palms, use Use that upper core strength to lift back up. Bend your knees, stack your hips. And now release that foot back down towards the floor. Shift down into a tabletop. Hands beneath your shoulders, knees, hips width distance apart. We're going to inhale here, lift our tailbone. Exhale, round your spine, chin towards chest. Inhale up. Exhale, round your spine, chin towards chest. Inhale up. Exhale, round your spine, chin towards chest. Inhale up. Exhale, round your spine, move at your own pace, 1 or 2 more times, the full cycle. Cat and cow pose, take away all, or release that compression on the lower back, open up throughout the spine. And then you'll start to release your tabletop pose, your cat and cow poses, and transition for our boat pose. So our sit bones on the floor, and make sure you have space behind you to lay down. We're gonna go from a boat pose to lay down towards the floor. So we're gonna activate a lot of core strength here, not only to hold the pose and boat pose, but also to transition to lay down onto the mat. Now you can take your arms out for less support. For more support, take your hands behind your knees. You lift your legs as high as you can here. This is a combo of balance and strength. Now lift your chest. Imagine there's a cord supporting you and finding that lift. Lots of strength here in the quads. And as you prepare to lay down onto the floor, tuck your chin towards your chest. Lengthen your legs. And then slowly release both legs and head at the same time. Inhale, exhale, side out. Notice the effects of your practice. We're going to bend our knees, soles of the feet on the floor, palms on the mat. Lift your hips as high as you can here. Lift your abdomen up towards the ceiling. Distribute weight on your heels. Notice a stretch around your quads. Hold. Glutes are active. Release your hips. Lengthen your legs. Palms up towards the ceiling. Another intentional breath. This is the whole breath. You can go back to it anytime. Inhale. And exhale. Remember, throughout our week, we tend to be so busy, we sometimes just forget what our full breath is like. Your yoga practice is your method of self-care, reminding yourself what your full breath is like, and then noticing you can go back to it at any time. In the morning, before you go to bed, before a meeting, before a task, during a task. And then we'll start to shift into our final resting pose of the class, our Shavasana. Lengthen your legs, palms frame your hips. Soften your body. Then your choice, practice some intentional deep breaths, or go back to your breath's natural rhythm, meaning you're not controlling the breath. You're allowing your chest, your belly to rise and fall naturally. Now, both options have their benefits. One is not better than the other. As we build that bridge physically, mentally, emotionally with our bodies or breath, this pose is an opportunity to let go, to receive, to integrate your practice. Physically, mentally, emotionally. Soften neck, shoulders, down the length of your arms. Imagining your fingertips float just a little bit more. Soften the upper back, mid back, lower back. Down to your hips, behind your knees, to your ankles and toes. Observing thoughts, sensations without judgment, just noticing. And then we'll start to shift our attention back to our breath, inviting a generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. And I say the words purposefully here, generous and leisurely inhale and exhale. Restore some movement to your fingertips and toes. And invite either a full body stretch, or turn your body to the left or to the right, allowing it to remain happy and relaxed. And then we'll start to lift up to our seat. Find a comfortable seat for you. Do bring integrity to that seat, meaning lengthening your spine, relaxing your shoulders. And then we'll take a moment to appreciate our practice, to appreciate our bodies and ourselves. And it's enormously difficult to be with the self for a full hour or so, arriving to this present moment. So let's express some appreciation, and in the spirit of appreciation, of gratitude, we'll take our hands in front of our heart center, and let's seal the class, an intentional breath. And in the tradition of yoga, the highest in me sees the highest in you. Let's walk with each other in gratitude.